Hey everybody, and welcome back to Annihilation RC, where we check out another big roster of fights up for grabs here. Uh, I'm your host, Civilian Arc, and today we have another 10 fight card for you. This will be the final fight card of the round 1 matches. There are 4 other fights that will be in basement uh, fight format, which so uh, they'll be uploaded at the end of the season. I will go over them briefly and explain what happened in each of them, but yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on them because this is where the real action is. Uh, so a big roster of fights for here. We got the fan favorite Robot Madness build Bung, a 4-wheel flipper bot with a little spike on the end. We got Terratops fighting against it. Terratops is, of course, a Season 7 rookie of BattleBots and has been doing pretty well in other robot leagues. So seeing how it does in Annihilation RC will be pretty prevalent. We also got another Battle RC classic robot and Rocket taking on Jaws. So 2 very unique designs, one hammer bot, one chomper bot. Should be an interesting way to see how stuff goes. Also, we have Ripper and Yugo Yeeter, 2 lifter robots, but acting in different directions. And finally, we have a main event between Cosmic Terror and Cobalt. These are 2 of the heaviest hitting weapons in the competition. Cobalt is a monster in BattleBots, and its Battle RC counterpart is pretty good also. As for Cosmic Terror is widely considered the best of the Battle RC builds. Often the only other robot that's often compared to it is robots such as Cat or Revolt, which we will also see compete this episode. But first we got 2 robots in Rescue Force and Buckeye. Rescue Force is a drum spinner 4-wheel bot, but it's not as traditional as other drum spinners. Obviously, most of the time, a lot of drum spinners have their drum almost taking the entire front of the robot, but obviously Rescue Force has some of its weapon, only on the front and not the full thing. Meanwhile, Buckeye is what you would call a slanted horizontal spinner. Basically, its whole plan is to swing with the power of a horizontal spinner, but have the angling of a vertical spinner, kind of like what you would think a diagonal spinner might be trying to get. So, we'll see how these 2 compete against each other. Alright, let the episode begin. Rescue Force getting some hits on Buckeye. Buckeye able to tilt Rescue Force a little bit. Rescue Force gets a pop. And another one. Both robots trying to angle it correctly, and Rescue Force gets under Buckeye. Now getting under Buckeye again. Swinging it into the kill saw. Great driving by Rescue Force. Buckeye trying to gain some momentum, trying to gain some space, but Rescue Force not making it easy. Now some more hits by Buckeye. Good hit by Buckeye there. Those are the kind of hits you want. Kind of get Rescue Force to back away from you, but Rescue Force not giving Buckeye an inch here. Now Rescue Force dragging Buckeye into the screws again. Rescue Force just pummeling Buckeye right now and throwing it into the pulverizer. Rescue Force in a very advantageous position right now. We can see Rescue Force is the lower bot between the 2 weapons, and all it needs to do now is just make sure Buckeye does not get a lucky hit in. We've seen a couple lucky shots that can turn the tide of a fight in one go. Will Buckeye be one of them? Rescue Force keeping its front pointed at Buckeye at all times, but that might have been a very poor maneuver by Rescue Force. Buckeye starting to get Rescue Force's flanks a little bit. Rescue Force biting back, getting under Buckeye. Good hits by Rescue Force here. Now under the pulverizer, Buckeye trying to self-right, trying to get something on Rescue Force. If it can try and accidentally snipe a wheel, maybe, Buckeye might have an advantage, but now we're seeing some pieces, maybe part of Buckeye's front. Yeah, they look a little mangled at the front there. Now Buckeye pushes Rescue Force into the kill saws. Both robots going absolutely guns blazing here, but Rescue Force is the clear winner of most of these exchanges. Buckeye is just not fast enough or low enough to get Rescue Force. Ooh! But those are some big hits by Buckeye there. 10 seconds left. This might be our first judge decision of the fight. Rescue Force getting under. And there it is. That's the end. Alright, so there were some very impressive hits by both machines in the match, but in a 10-5, 9-6, and 9-6 decision, a unanimous decision has been reached, and Rescue Force will take the win tonight. So a very impressive win by Rescue Force to start the season off. Buckeye 0-1, but a pretty solid 0-1 start for it. Now we're going to see two robots in Swamp Thing and Lucky take on each other. Lucky is widely known as one of the most powerful flippers of BattleBots. Now we're going to see how it does in Battle RC. Taking on it is Swamp Thing, a two-wheel vertical spinner. Obviously, it's got that beak on the front trying to get under Lucky here. We'll see how it does. Swamp Thing starting out getting under Lucky. Swamp Thing spinning that weapon up. Now Lucky trying to get an angle on him. Nice mild flip by Lucky. Not big, but it's a good start. Now there's a big flip by Lucky. That's what we want to see here tonight. Uh-oh, but the kill saw is trying to get a piece of Lucky. Swamp Thing getting flipped again by Lucky. Lucky standing up and gets another big flip on Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing just cornered right now by Lucky. Not giving Swamp Thing an inch. There's another big flip by Lucky right there. Big flips by Lucky here. This is what happens when you disagree with all the comments about Tombstone and Team Hardcore Robotics. So Lucky starts off the season with a win. A lot of powerful flips we saw there tonight. Swamp Thing now 0-1. Definitely wants to not stay in that hole, especially after a loss like that. But now it's time for Pizza Time versus Heatwave. Pizza Time's one of the most loved robots in all of Robot Madness. Just a pizza scoop robot with a little wheel as a grabber mechanic. And then Heatwave is a incredibly powerful vertical spinner. One of the longest vertical spinners of the competition. Obviously, this will be a very tough task for Pizza Time, but let's see how they pull it off. So Pizza Time starts out trying to get under Heatwave, but Heatwave gets a big shot on Pizza Time. Pulverizer gets a bit of Heatwave though. And Pulverizer gets Pizza Time now. Pizza Time kind of cornered. I think Heatwave almost got under it there. Big hits by Heatwave here. Cornering Pizza Time. these two robots trying to... Another big hit by Heatwave. Pizza Time needs to recenter. But I don't think Heatwave's gonna give him a chance. I think Pizza Time is just... Ooh! Not sure what kind of hit that was, but that was interesting. Now another big pop by Heatwave. Now between Heatwave's hits and Lucky's flips, I'm not sure what exactly has been more scarier tonight, but I know one thing, Pizza Time is very scared with another major hit, and it looks like it might be sent out of the arena. So very impressive win by Heatwave. Heatwave going on to the 1-0s, and Pizza Time in a very bad spot there. Now we see Stingray and Devil Forge take on each other. Stingray is a control grappler bot in the Robot Madness section. Meanwhile, Devil Forge is one of the only flamethrower robots of the series. Its whole purpose is to get under a robot, scoop it up, and try to burn its internals. It's a very effective weapon. However, the downside is the limit to flamethrowers. Because of how it's limited, Devil Forge does not have an unlimited surplus of fire, and if Devil Forge is not careful, it will run out before doing any meaningful damage. Alright, let's see how these two go against each other. Stingray getting its lift on Devil Forge. Devil Forge trying to get its flamethrower involved here. But Stingray throwing Devil Forge into the screws. Another good flip by Stingray. Ooh, but a big hit onto the kill saws by Devil Forge. The arena hazards are going to be very important because Stingray's lifts obviously aren't going to be doing a whole lot. And Devil Forge's fire, while doing damage on the health bar of Stingray, it's limited. So you can see Devil Forge is almost halfway empty by now. So yeah, it's doing damage, but it's going to be out sooner rather than later. Right now, Devil Forge pinning Stingray into the corner there. It looks like we might go for an unstick here, and I believe we are. Nope, Devil Forge saves Stingray at the last second and almost throws him out of the arena there. That would have been scary for Stingray. That is not a situation you'd want to be in. But whoa! I don't know what just happened there. So Devil Forge looks like it's opting to use all of its flame immediately. I guess we'll see how that pays out. We are halfway done through this fight though, so I think Devil Forge now using its wedge, controlling the fight. Stingray is in a very weird spot right now because Devil Forge got under Stingray. Now, we did call for an unstick there. They both were at the 5 count, so that was a fair unstick. Now, Devil Forge getting flipped over. Now remember, when you get unstuck, you are at your starting positions. That is important, and right now, Stingray flipping Devil Forge puts Devil Forge in a very precarious position. Devil Forge now ramming Stingray into the polarizer. 30 seconds here. It's very important to see what these last 30 seconds do. These robots have been back and forth all night. Right now, Devil Forge is currently the one upside down. Stingray getting hit by the kill saws. And that is going to be a very tough decision. But there goes Devil Forge stuck at the end. Alright, so a very close decision here. It actually came out to be split. All three judges scored the contest 8-7, but at the end of the day, the win was awarded to Devil Forge. With the back and forth control as well as the damage done by the flamethrower. Overall, the judges had decided that the damage is what swung the fight, and Stingray will start 0-1. Very solid win by Devil Forge. Obviously, it did its job with the flamethrower, but it will have to be careful for future competitions. Obviously, it got lucky with a fight like this where Stingray doesn't have that much momentum, but take on a spinner like, I don't know, maybe some of the next ones we see. Devil Forge is going to need to play it much more conservatively. But now we go on to Ripper versus Yugo Yeeter. Two very different type of flipper bots. Ripper is a back hinged flipper. So what that means is that the flipper is actuated from the back, and so the furthest it's supposed to go is from the front. So the place that you want to have your opponent at, if you are a back hinge flipper, is the front of your robot. And the opposite goes for Yugo Eater, which is a front hinge flipper, which means the flipper is actuated from the front of the robot. So the place where you get much of the purchase of that lifter is going to be if you get the robot as close to the back as you can. Starts out trying to get a lift on Yugo Yeeter, and Ripper does succeed there. Yugo Yeeter currently on the back end. Ooh, big flip by Ripper there. Now Yugo Yeeter trying to keep its flipper as a shield, I guess. Very odd strategy from Yugo Yeeter. Maybe it's trying to center itself to make sure it doesn't accidentally fall inverted, maybe. Right now we can see Ripper is the one with clear control. Accidentally flips itself there. But Ripper starts out very strong here, getting another good flip on Yugo. Ooh, now Yugo gets a solid flip on Ripper, and Ripper's having trouble self-righting. Yugo throwing Ripper into the screws. Now Yugo at the screws right now. Kind of a back and forth between these two. Both of these guys are just kind of haphazardly using their weapons. Kind of just swinging them around like it's a sausage measuring contest. The only difference is there was no sausage here. There's only two robots. Pulverizer starting to flatten Yugo out like a pancake, unlike those sausages, man. Nice dodge by Yugo there. This might come down to damage, and right now Yugo looks pretty damaged. We might have our third judge's decision of the fight. But these are some good flips by Ripper now. You do want to give credit where credit's due. Ripper is using its flipper effectively when it decides to use its flipper effectively. Nice flip by Ripper there. 15 seconds to go for these two. I think this fight is going to go to the judges unless... Oh, whoa, Yugo lost a wheel. Very interesting ending. Is it going to use another wheel, get automatically counted out? No, Yugo makes this judge's decision. So ultimately, the winner is decided to be Ripper in 11-4, 11-4, and 10-5 decision. So congrats to Ripper for winning this fight. Now we're gonna go ahead and check out Frostburn versus Cat. Frostburn, a full body spinner of the Robot Madness Brigade. Cat is a robot that seems very similar to Riptide from regular BattleBots, but there are some key differences. First key difference is that Cat is a tread robot, which means it does not have wheels, it runs on treads. Now, how Battle RC treads work, I honestly have no idea. I I don't have a clue. Battle RC, maybe you want to leave a comment in the episode if you watch it. Help us out there. Uh, also, Riptide usually likes to run on forks. Cat has wedgelets and 2 vertical bar spinners, as opposed to Riptide's egg beater drum. So, obviously, Cat does have some advantages here with multiple ways to get under Frostburn and 2 weapons, but full body spinners are very unpredictable. You do not want to place any bets on what happens because it's a flip of the coin, essentially. Alright, let the bot battle begin. Frostburn already hitting the ground, I guess. Cat aiming us weapons. Starting slow, but getting some good hits on Frostburn. Ooh, but Frostburn gets under Cat there. Frostburn stuck up on the Uda zone, but gets out. Cat now stuck on the spike strip, but also gets out. Some big hits early on, but won a pretty quick fight there. Solid showing by Cat. Now we're gonna go see Terratops and Bung face each other. Bung is a 4-wheel flipper robot, and Terratops is a vertical disc spinner with a lifter at the front, very similar to what Whiplash is, although Terratops' frame is a bit different than Whiplash's. It's a bit more vertical, a bit less boxier than Whiplash's. Could be an advantage, could be a disadvantage. We don't know until we find out. Alright, Terratops just starts out lifting Bung, and Bung already stuck against the wall. Terratops delivering some painful shots on Bung. Killsaw's getting some action. Oh, Bung flipping the rib cages of Terratops. Nice shot by Terratops there. Bung gonna have to recenter itself, get some agency, some space to regroup. Killsaw was actually a nice shield by Bung, but Terratops doesn't care. Just gonna lift Bung all over the place. Now both bots kind of just feeling each other out right now. Bung kind of just flipped itself on its own, I guess. Terratops, I guess, kind of scared of the corner, maybe. Kind of overwhelmed by the amount of... Oh, well... I don't think Terratops should feel overwhelmed. It just took a wheel off of Bung. Bung should be the one feeling overwhelmed, folks. Might be Terratops' drive, might be a bit too slippery and slidey, but I don't think Terratops minds right now. As you saw, that was pretty much Bung's first ever, big flip of the match, and it wasn't even that big compared to what we've seen from Lucky. And another big hit by Terratops. Big thing Bung has to consider here is, now it's just only has 2 wheels and 1 wheel now. Is Terratops going to get that 4th and final wheel? What's the over-under here? Oh, Uda or wheel? Take your bets. Or health bar, maybe. That's also a possibility. Bung doing its best to avoid losing that fourth wheel. But Terratops just does not care. He wants that fourth wheel desperately. He wants to start 1-0 so badly. Bung, with only 20 seconds to survive. Can he do it? Oh, gets a very tiny flip on Terratops. If Bung survives, this would be honestly the perfect start to. I'm gonna take that one on the chin. That one's my bad, guys. I jinxed Bung. That's on me. So Terratops 1-0 now. Now we're going to see Revolt and Buzzkill take on each other. Now Revolt, as I mentioned, is considered one of the best of the Battle RC builds. Obviously, we're going to see it take on Buzzkill, a horizontal spinner, sort of in the same vein as Buckeye, but it's kind of different. Buckeye is a four-wheeled robot that's kind of has a boxy frame. Buzzkill is more of a circular frame, kind of an ovalish type frame. It's also two-wheeled, which means it might be a bit more difficult to drive inverted and potentially self-ride. Now, I don't think it's going to matter in a fight like this because it's fighting Revolt, which is just Bloodsport on steroids, essentially. Revolt is a heavy bar horizontal spinner. It's going to cause some damage, and I can't wait to see how it goes. Alright, both horizontals spinning up. Buzzkill kind of... Ooh! There's a first shot by Revolt there. Revolt getting some big hits, trying to early on. Buzzkill kind of just flipped over. That's why I said Buzzkill very keen to almost flip over, but we'll see how it goes with its weapon. The weapon is what's going to be most important to know. Wait, oh, Revolt was kind of stuck there for a moment. Should have been interesting if Buzzkill was, you know, not what it is right now. But now Buzzkill getting some good hits in. That's a solid shot by Revolt, though. Now these two kind of just trading. Revolt getting sent into the kill zone. Ooh. Okay, so Buzzkill technically does have four wheels, but they're only set in the same position, so... Okay, now Buzzkill has two wheels. Just has two wheels on each side, so when Buzzkill loses one wheel on one side, it's still got the other wheel to help itself out, but now Buzzkill only has one wheel altogether, and I think Revolt desperately wants it. Alright, so Revolt did get that last wheel off of Buzzkill, and to prevent any further damage, we called the fight for a win for Revolt. So very classic Revolt-esque win. We'll see how it does further on. I do think that there's a bit more to prove on Revolt's end, but, you know, Revolt is still a very dangerous machine. Now we're going to see how Rocket and Jaws face off each other. Alright, two very unique builds. Rocket, hammer-type bot with a very beautiful-looking hammer. Jaws, a chomper bot, which just got flipped over. Is that it? Oh, according to Rocket now. Rocket doesn't think it's over. I guess Jaws doesn't have the ground game. Rocket... Jaws trying to do something. Jaws trying to clear something up. Oh, throws him into the kill saw. Okay, Jaws does have some stuff going on for him. Oh, but Rocket flips him. Looks like that's it, Rocket. Tell if is that it? Yeah, that's it. Alright. Well, congrats, Rocket. Alright, so a huge win for Rocket there. It moves on to 1-0. So, now we come and have our main event here, but before then, let's get on to the fights that didn't make air for the regular season, which will be coming out at the end of the season, but here's a few snippets of what happened. In the Battle of the Battle RC bots, Osprey and Armageddon started off with a very strange start. Osprey started out getting some damage, but Armageddon actually turned out to use its lifter for something. He managed to flip Osprey. And while that was a fun moment for about 10 seconds, Osprey was not amused at all. Was Osprey trying to get some weapon hits, with Armageddon trying to either flee or get another lucky pin on Osprey. And while Armageddon did try to face off well against Osprey, Osprey just had a too powerful weapon. Armageddon lost in a unanimous judge's decision, giving Osprey the win. In another Control Bot vs. Control Bot section, Night Fuel started against Chaos in a very strong start. Mainly, Chaos just did not have anything to fight against Night Fuel for, and while I could show clippets, I could show you the whole fight, which is literally just this. Yeah, Overhaul and Valkyrie. Valkyrie started very clean with its weapon. However, Overhaul's control managed to be the worst for Valkyrie. Overhaul managed to get over Valkyrie stuck on its head more often than not, often using the battle box to its advantage. Until, at some point, catastrophe struck, and Overhaul lost a wheel. This hindered Overhaul's drive greatly, and while Valkyrie was hard to control itself as well, it still had its active weapon to rely on. As unfortunate as it sounds, while Valkyrie did not get an explicit knockout shot on Overhaul, Overhaul did get stuck on the battle box railing, meaning Valkyrie won by knockout. Finally, we saw Jab and Whiplash go at it, and a heated fight between two very talented drivers. While Whiplash was the favorite, Jab was actually incredibly aggressive, managing to flip Whiplash multiple times across the fight. However, it was really Whiplash's spinner that was the big differential here, as it managed to take out chunk after chunk of Jab's wedge. While Jab refused to give up, Whiplash's weapon ultimately costed Jab, getting Whiplash a win via UDA. So there you have it. Only one fight left before we end off the first round of the Fight Night format. We're gonna see Cosmic Terror and Cobalt face off each other. Now, let's get on to the tail of the tape. Cosmic Terror's big advantage is its weapon. It's hitting hard all the time. It's never stops spinning. It's always going to hit something no matter what. Now, that's the big downside of it, too. Whatever Cosmic Terror hits, it's going to hit itself in the process due to Newton's third law. So, Cosmic Terror if Cosmic Terror gets even a big hit on Cobalt, the question isn't what it does to Cobalt. The question is what it does to Cosmic Terror. That's going to be the big question here. As for Cobalt, Cobalt's big advantage is, I think, its drive. I think in this fight, Cobalt is going to want to rely on its drive to try and box Cosmic Terror in. It has a lot less stability issues in this fight. However, a big disadvantage for Cobalt is going to be self-righting. Cobalt is very slow when it comes to self-righting, and it needs to have fast self-righting, or Cosmic Terror may put a world of hurt on Cobalt. Alright, let the main event begin. Two heavy spinners fighting it out for 1-0 here. Cosmic Terror starts up, getting some big hits on Cobalt. Cobalt's Forge kind of just deflecting him, though. They're not getting a hit yet, but it is good defense. Now Cosmic Terror hits Cobalt up into the kill saws, but Cosmic Terror destabilizing itself. That's what we talked about when he talked about stability. Cosmic Terror has a very hard time trying to keep control of itself. Cobalt is now taking advantage. Cosmic Terror staring down Cobalt. both of them trying to get a big hit to affect this fight, but right now, Cobalt is the one in control. Cosmic Terror digging its weapon into Cobalt. Both spinners trying to hit a big hit. And I think that affected Cosmic Terror the most there. Cobalt just staring Cosmic Terror down and lets Cosmic Terror self-right, but Cosmic Terror not backing down here. It's going to want to get a big hit on Cobalt. Right now, Cosmic Terror is losing the more health, but that could change in an instant. It's going to always hit Cobalt first, no matter what. So Cobalt has to always be patient on when to hit Cosmic Terror at the best points. Another good hit by Cobalt. Right now, this is a very solid showing by Cobalt. Cobalt clearly in the lead right now, but Cosmic Terror not too far behind, sticking in close with Cobalt, not giving an inch. And we lost a piece of something there. I'm not sure of who. It does look like the right side of Cobalt's armor is a little damaged, a little dented maybe. If you look at the very bottom of Cobalt, you'll see a little piece of armor sticking out. Now Cosmic Terror starts getting big hits, but destabilizes yet again. This has been ooh! I think that hit might have benefited Cosmic Terror. Maybe starting to run up a comeback here. 15 seconds left for these two to show any sign. Both bots throwing haymakers at the end. Cobalt trying to get one last hit, and there it goes. Flips Cosmic Terror. Can Cosmic Terror get any kind of response? It cannot. Alright, so after a bit of debate, the judges did come to a unanimous decision, so Cobalt will be claimed the victor of this fight. So a solid win by Cobalt there. Very good showing by Cosmic Terror too. A lot of very back and forth fights we saw tonight. Rescue Force and Buckeye both gave big hits. Stingray and Devil Forge, a very tough control fight. I think there's a lot of good wins here, and a lot of good losses too. I think going into the second round of the Fight Night format, there's going to be a couple robots to look out for. Cobalt's one to look out for, Lucky as well. A couple unknown quantities, Cat, Revolt, and Terratops all have a bit of prove-it-itis that they need. Rocket 2 to an extent. Devil Forge looked pretty impressive as well, so did Heatwave. There's a lot of bots that have a bit of question mark wins and a lot of bots that have very impressive ones. So let me know how you felt about how these robots fought in the comments below. Please make sure to give a like and a subscribe to see how Annihilation RC continues, and I'll see you in the next episode.